open Instagram and then you see a 22-year-old has their own company. A 25-year-old has just bought their third property. Your college roommate is getting married and posting vacation photos from somewhere it looks like heaven. And you sit there at your apartment with your regular Tuesday and think, what am I doing with my life? It is not exactly sadness or jealousy, but more like the sense that everyone else is moving forward and you are somewhere stuck. If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. In fact, most people feel this way no matter how successful they seem in an area in the outside. We all feel that we're behind in our life timeline in some ways. Behind in love, behind in career, behind where we think we should be by now. And it's not your fault to feel this way, because we're all hardwired to compare socially. But most of the time, it just doesn't serve us to feel this way every time we see other people's success. And it's time to learn what is really true today. So in this video, I'm gonna show you why you feel this way, why you're not actually behind, and how to stop letting comparison quietly steal your life. Hi everyone, I'm Yang. I'll help you quiet your overthinking, find your inner peace, trust your intuition to align within, so you can expand beyond what you thought possible. Honestly, I've lived this feeling for as long as I can remember. I felt stuck and behind because I couldn't figure out what I really wanted to do with my life. I feel like I was stuck in a career that I didn't really want and that there was no way out, and I had to be this way the rest of my life. It was not until I learned that what I'm about to share with you that now I just feel peaceful with where I'm at in my life right now, no matter how behind I would have felt before. So first, feeling behind is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It's one of the most deeply human experiences there is. We're social animals. We're wired to notice how we're different to others, so we know what we should do with our lives and how we can fit into the society. But what we're feeling doesn't mean it's necessarily true. We have to learn the truth so next time when a feeling comes up, we can acknowledge that it is just a feeling and coming back to the truth. And truth is, you're not behind. No one is behind. Everyone is living their own timeline, and it is perfect for everyone. And I will tell you why in this video. So stop treating feeling as proof of failure. It's just proof that you're human. Just like any negative feelings, there's nothing bad about it, and it's just part of human experience. Don't judge yourself for feeling this way, and be kind to yourself if you find yourself comparing. And when you actually talk to the people who seem to have it all figured out, you find out that they don't. A filmmaker once shared a story about sitting down with a much more experienced colleague he deeply admired. He expected perspective. What he got instead was the man saying, "Honestly, I'm the same stage as you, still figuring out where I'm headed." That's the pattern. The people who look ahead feel behind too. The feeling doesn't disappear when you achieve more, the bar just gets higher every time. The first thing you need to know is, you don't actually want what you want. The idea that most of what we think we actually want because we've seen others wanting it first. We absorb desire from the people and culture around us without realizing it. Think about the goals you're currently chasing. How many of them did you arrive at after genuine reflection? And how many were simply handed to you by someone else? Because everyone is going to the university, so you should get a degree too. Because everyone is getting into a big company and be a good employee, so you should do that too. Because everyone's getting married, so you should get married by 30 too. Do you want it because it is your true desire at your heart? Or are you just following everyone else? Ask yourself these questions. If you have everything you desire now, how would you spend your day? Like all the money and relationship, how would your perfect day be like? Would you still do what you're doing right now? If it is, that's yours. That's genuine. But if it's not, then it's not your true desire. It is just what you believe having it will finally make you feel like. Valid, worthy, enough. Do you really want the title? Or is it because what it makes you feel? Proof that you are enough. Once you spot the borrowed desire, you can ask a better question. Does pursuing this actually improve my life, or is it just feeding a comparison loop? Sometimes an external trigger can lead to something genuinely good for you. Other times, you're just wanting someone else's ways. Find the work you still do if nobody was watching. That's the thing worth building, and I believe everyone has it in them. Everyone has their unique calling, because if you don't, you will fall into the arrival fallacy again and again. That is when you achieve something, you might be happy for a moment, then immediately look for another thing to chase. You thought you'll be happy when you have them, but you never had and you never will be, because you never learned to enjoy the present. When you ask the people who seem to have it all figured out, you'll find out that they don't. Because everyone is figuring out where they're going. They're just in a different stage than you. People who look ahead feel behind too. The feeling doesn't disappear when you achieve more. The bar just relocates to a higher place. So, what is the solution? Detach from your goals and be grateful for what you have right now. If you are not happy with where you are right now, you never will be because you never validated yourself. Second, comparison is a trap. When we compare ourselves to others, we're comparing our internal experience to their external presentation. You see someone else's results, their announcement, the achievement, the milestones, then you hold it up against where you privately are right now. That's an inherently broken equation. You're not seeing what they gave up, what advantages they were handed, or what the years of stumbling that happened before the wins. You are seeing final results and feeling bad about your rough draft. Instead of just scrolling past someone who you envy, actually learn their full story. The deeper you understand someone, the more you realize the struggle was always there too. Shallow knowledge of many people makes everyone seem fine. Real knowledge of a few makes you realize everyone has to go through some kind of struggle to get what you want. And it is not necessarily a bad thing. It is a process, and there are blessings in it too. There are blessings all along the way, but you should not assume only you have to suffer, and you know that you are just in different stages. You may be just starting, and they have already been doing it for years. And even though they get it earlier than you do, so what? Does that mean because people can have everything earlier, and your life in the past 10 years doesn't count and more valuable and enjoyable? You're not defined by what you achieve. You're valuable and worthy just because you exist. Remember that. When you believe you're behind, it makes you self sabotage. You rush choices that deserve patience, careers, relationships, major decisions. You give up on things too early, mistaking slow progress for the wrong direction. You never enjoy the life you actually have right now, spending it inside a pressure that only exists in your head. Comparison and self judgment sounds like motivation, but all it does just strain you and makes you feel bad about yourself. It also opens the I should have started sooner loop. It sounds like self awareness, but it's actually just procrastination. It keeps you focused on the past you cannot change instead of a present you can act on. If I had started learning piano 10 years ago, I would have been playing it so well. So it turns into an excuse because you could have started it sooner, so you can start it now. Do you realize how ridiculous it is right now? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. Starting later than you imagined is not the same as starting too late. Stop giving yourself all the excuses and start doing what you want to do now. The only comparison worth making is to yourself yesterday. Are you growing? Are you moving? That's the only scoreboard that actually counts. And third, there is no official timeline for your life. It is all made up from people who are no smarter than you, who feel behind like you do too. When we grow up, we internalize the sequence: education, career, partnership, family, financial security, each with implied deadlines. Researchers call this the social clock, a set of invisible expectations society holds about when you should be doing what. And when you don't hit those checkpoints on time, you feel like you are losing. But this clock wasn't handed down from any great wisdom. Much of it originated in mid-20th century, in a particular era, a particular kind of family structure, a particular economy, the industrial age. But that world no longer exists. Today, the average age people get married is higher than it's ever been, and most people move through 3 to 7 career changes across their working lives. Genuine purpose tend to show up for people in their 30s, 40s, even later. The average age of someone launching a business that actually succeeds isn't in their 20s, it's closer to mid 40s. You're not late. You're just using a clock that was not designed for your life. Your clock should be designed uniquely for you only. And the truth about the urgency to get ahead, the desperate need for achievement and external recognition, all comes down to the absence of self-acceptance and self-love. You never learn to love yourself to feel okay about where you are right now. You are afraid that if you don't achieve enough, nobody will love you. And it is a valid feeling. Don't be harsh on yourself for that. And honestly, I felt this way my whole life because maybe it's from my family or at school. I've always been told that I need to perform so I will be worthy of love. But it's not until I learned that it was actually because I never learned to love myself too. When you learn to love and validate yourself, no matter what the outer circumstances are, you will never chase external achievements again. because you'll always know that you're enough and you are worthy of love no matter what. It doesn't mean that you will stop working for dreams, but you will not need them to feel okay about yourself ever again. Fourth, I believe a slower path is actually a blessing. Think about what happens when success arrives before the foundation is solid. It's fast, but it's unstable. If you succeed so early, what else is worth for your pursuit? What's more, you might constantly scared that you might fall behind again. How many child prodigies who got famous in a young age but then fall down very quickly because their foundation, the self-concept, were never given time to build up, so they couldn't handle the fame and wealth and everything. And when things come together later, after you've gotten through failure, developed resilience, and gotten clear on who you actually are, you have the capacity to hold a success. You have what it takes to handle everything that's given to you. You can build something that lasts. Some of the most significant creative and professional breakthroughs in history happened well into people's 40s and 50s after decades of what looked like failing behind from the outside. If those people had been consumed by the feeling of being behind the whole time, they would never have been able to recognize the right opportunity when it came. And here are some practices I would like you to apply to your life right now. And the first one is true comparison. Every time you catch yourself measuring against someone else, redirect it back to yourself. Ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do today that's gonna make me better than yesterday? Only compare to yourself and only one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just think of one thing you can improve. And that's the only comparison worth your attention. And second, rewrite the deadline. For everything you feel behind on, ask who set this deadline? Why does it have to be by then? Most of the deadlines were given you from people who were no smarter than you and don't even know life better than you. Why should you listen to them and allow their timeline to dictate what you should feel about yourself? And third, name your season. Instead of measuring your position in a race, identify what season you're actually in. Are you healing, building foundation, learning something new, transitioning? Write it down as a statement. Right now, I'm in a season of something. Different seasons have different paces. You can evaluate a healing season by the standards of a peak performance season. A lot of time, progress may not be visible on the outside, in even your conscious mind, but it may be the most valuable time, and it is when you build your foundation. Sometimes what you cannot see is more real than what you can see. Oftentimes, when you're in the building phase, it looks like stagnation for everyone. No visible wins, no announcements, but something is being built internally that only showed up later. Most real growth is invisible before it isn't. Just like how plants and trees had their time of growing their roots before shining out into the world, the path that looks slower from the outside is often doing the most important work. Instead of asking, why am I behind? Ask, what is this period actually preparing me for? And fourth, track actions, not outcomes. Outcomes are shaped by timings and circumstances. You cannot control them. What you can control is what you do today. Focus in this moment. Track your input, not just the results. Acknowledge the process you're in, the mindset that you're shifting, the identity you're embodying. Internal transformation always comes before external results. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small they are. In fact, especially the small ones, because that's how you learn to be consistent and focus on your actions rather than outcomes. And five, take it as an inspiration. Use the comparison as a positive motivation instead. A lot of time when we compare ourselves to others, we feel jealous, we feel envy, feel that we're not as good as them. But we can choose to change our perspective instead. Because when you see someone who has something you want, that's actually inspiration. Because there are so many things in the world, you only like that thing. And that's the indication of what's resonating with your inner being. You're not get shown by something and you cannot have it. You get shown something because it's meant to inspire you to have it. Whatever exists in your dream, it means you can have it. Because it is put from the universe inside your mind for you to achieve what you want. And that's what I mean by the calling from the universe. Before I end this video, I want you to know that the world is interesting precisely because no two lives look the same. Different timing, different starting points, different paths, and each one, when followed honestly, produces a wonderful life that's uniquely beautiful for you. You are not behind. You are learning things that others will have to learn later. You are not behind. You are navigating a life that hasn't always been easy and doing it without a map. You are not behind. Everyone presenting as put together is privately figuring out things too. You are not behind. You are living a timeline no one has ever walked before because it is yours. Stop judging yourself for not being further along. Start giving yourself credit for showing up for yourself and not quitting. Your path isn't delayed, it is divine. Trust the timing, trust the unfolding, You are exactly where you're supposed to be. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.